Bernie Sanders, almost immediately after the Derek Chauvin verdict, again, 3 guilty counts, potentially decades in prison, sentencing in 8 weeks. Bernie Sanders, using similar language to that which many are using and many of our viewers used on the live stream where we covered the verdict, that the Chauvin verdict is accountability, but it is not justice, and it does not fix issues of systemic racism in the United States. Bernie Sanders sending a few tweets, let's look at them, saying, quote, "The jury's verdict delivers accountability for Derek Chauvin, but not justice for George Floyd. Real justice for him and too many others can only happen when we build a nation that fundamentally respects the human dignity of every person." Bernie going on to say, "The trauma and tragedy of George Floyd's murder must never leave us. It was a manifestation of a system that callously devalues the lives of Black people." Finally, Bernie saying, "Our struggle now is about justice, not justice on paper, but real justice in which all Americans live their lives free of oppression. We must boldly root out the cancer of systemic racism and police violence against people of color." So certainly this is a step forward if it is a new era of more police understanding that they are in a position as police officers that can be dangerous for them. There's no denying that. They are in a position where they are put into situations that are by their nature difficult and that require exercising judgment about what is the risk to them and to others of the individuals that they encounter. But the sort of free pass or close to free pass that, it's not my opinion, that statistically there has been, understand, over the last decade and a half, as I mentioned earlier, out of 140 cases of charges against officers for murder or manslaughter, of the 97 cases that have been resolved, 7 guilty verdicts. OK, that this may be a change in terms of what they can get away with. And much like when Barack Obama was elected president, it didn't end racism. In fact, it arguably coalesced racism and xenophobia and subsequently led to Donald Trump. Understand the backwards nature of that. This is potentially a step forward, but pervasive ignorance is not going anywhere anytime soon. It is maybe the start. It is maybe a glimmer of hope. It would be great if it were true that this was some major resolution to America's problems, but it's not. And again, I want to repeat something that I mentioned in the first segment about the verdict. It is an odd situation where you have the state of Minnesota saying we are going to deal with what we believe is a wrong that was committed, right? The state saying, from what we saw, we are charging Derek Chauvin and we are prosecuting Derek Chauvin. But Derek Chauvin is, at least in a sense, a consequence of the policing system overseen by that very same state of Minnesota. And you could make a similar analogy to other states around the country, different states dealing with issues of police force to different degrees. So we are now going to have to see what is next. President Joe Biden speaking last night alongside Kamala Harris and others, and saying we now have a problem that hopefully we can start to deal with. And the question of how is it going to be dealt with and to what degree, and will police departments play a role as part of the solution or not? And of course, police departments aren't one thing, and there are dramatically different police departments in the United States. To just as a reminder, disclaimer, I know people get mad when I do this. I am not an abolish the police guy. I am a reform the police guy, and I have extensive clips on our YouTube channel about why. That's my framework. This is not, I know that there were some who reacted to this by saying all cops are bastards, abolish the police. This guilty verdict proves we get rid of police. Go talk to them if you want to figure out why they think that. That's not my view. I've made clear, my 8 to 10 point plan of police reforms that I would put in place. So the question I have for you, and you can let me know, find me on Twitter at @dpakman or elsewhere. What do you hope this verdict means? And what do you think it most likely means, if anything, bigger picture? All right. Find me on Twitter, @dpakman. We'll take a quick break and we will have extensive reaction from all sorts of different people to these 3 guilty verdicts that we got yesterday.